It's a gardening fail. I have gray mold in my greenhouse. For those of you that are new here, my name is Brooke and this is Acres, and this is basically a diary of me learning how to garden and remodel a house with my husband. So if you're into that kind of stuff, hope you enjoy it. I've been harboring a sad garden secret. I have gray mold in my greenhouse. I talked to a local nursery, I looked at extension articles, and gray mold is not good. Oddly enough, I was concerned about having mold in the greenhouse because you have all that moisture and you need to like vent it properly to have low humidity, but you also don't want to lower the temperature too much because that can damage the plants when you get down below freezing. So I was concerned about this before I started my greenhouse journey, and my worst fears have come true. I'm actually pretty upset about this. Not tragically upset, but I'm pretty frustrated because I tried so hard. I read all the articles, I did everything you were supposed to, and then there was about a week, it was about 4 or 5 days that I was really busy, and I had closed up the greenhouse because the nights were getting down into the 20s, and then for about 4 or 5 days I got too busy and forgot to open it up during the day. So there was a lot of humidity, a lot of heat, and now there's a lot of mold. So it is my fault, but it's still frustrating because I tried so hard to prevent this outcome, and here we are. So today I'm gonna bring you out with me, see if I can combat this a little bit. Hopefully I can and can save some of my plants. If not, it never hurts to try. So let's go. When I looked online, I read that basically you're not even supposed to burn anything that has gray mold issues. You're supposed to bury it because you don't want the spores to go anywhere. But that was mostly in articles referring to large agricultural productions, so you don't want to compromise the rest of your crops. And that doesn't really apply to us here. I did talk to a local nursery. I picked their brain a little bit, and they said because of our natural conditions outdoors, not in a greenhouse, there's a lower likelihood of gray mold being able to thrive in this area, especially during this time. So I'm pretty safe not burying my plants, and I'm going to try and rehabilitate them because there's not any harm in trying. I had read that a diluted mixture of hydrogen peroxide can help with this issue, as well as copper. So that is what I'm going to be using in the hopes of getting this a little bit under control. The dogs won't be joining me outside today. Sadie is under the weather. We took her to the emergency vet yesterday, and we're not quite sure what's going on. Her liver enzyme levels are not looking great. They're elevated for whatever reason, and the vet couldn't figure out why. So we are doing a week of treatment and a bland diet and some meds, and then we're going to retest her levels next week, and hopefully they'll be better. But for now, I just want to leave her inside so that she can relax and not get excited or eat anything strange outdoors. If you're wondering what gray mold looks like, it looks like this plant needs to be watered. I don't know if you can see it, but there is gray fuzzies all along the dead areas of the plant. And the way gray mold works is it first attacks the dead or weak portions of the plant, and then that allows it to work its way into the healthy portions of the plant. So I'm going to remove anything dead or weak and then start treating the areas that are alive in the hopes that I can start controlling this a little bit better. These will all get treated as well preventatively, but they're not nearly as bad. They're not an obvious infection of gray mold like the plants out there are. So I'm gonna just treat these really quick and clean them up. I'm also really sad because I left my little snips in here and forgot about them, and I had just cleaned them up for the winter, and now they're covered in rust again. I'm sad. So one of the tricky things about this particular hydrangea is that it grows on the last year's growth. If I want it to bloom, which it hasn't bloomed in many years, because I always forget and cut it off, so I'm gonna have to take off the foliage, all the leaves, and then treat the stems, and hopefully that will handle the issue we're experiencing. I think the strawberries might be where the mold issue originated. So if you look down in here, all the mold growing on the dead portions of the strawberry plants. So I'm wondering if this was the culprit, because this is where I did first notice it. So that's unfortunate. Lesson learned. Note to self, next time I am doing strawberry transplanting and I'm keeping them in a pot, don't overpack them. This is quite unfortunate, but I am fairly certain that this is the culprit of the mold issue. It is the worst here, and it's also something I noticed, but I didn't really register that it was an issue, because I saw strawberries that I hadn't noticed that they had molded, and I was like, oh no, and I picked them, but turns out it's a bigger issue. Hopefully that will, having it cleared out more, getting rid of that dead foliage, giving it more air, will allow this mold issue to dissipate. We'll see. So what I have here is a copper mixture, 1 ounce per gallon or half an ounce per gallon. So there's not a whole lot of copper in this. And then I also have the hydrogen peroxide mixture that I made, and it's with 3% hydrogen peroxide, and it is 1 to 4. It's a ratio of 1 to 4 for the 3% hydrogen peroxide. And I'm just going to treat all of these plants with both, and then the plants on the inside as well. This is gonna wrap it up for me. I'm gonna finish doing the rest of the plants on the other side of the greenhouse, move the ones that I treated outside back in for the evening, and I'm leaving the greenhouse vented basically every single day. Unless it's getting really low, like it's getting into the 20s, I'm going to be leaving this greenhouse vented so that I can minimize the amount of mold that's going on and circulating in this greenhouse. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe down below. Let me know in the comments section if you have ever experienced anything like this. I will definitely keep you updated on what's happening. If this works, if I lose all my plants, we'll find out together. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye! I just realized I recorded a whole lot of stuff without having the microphone on. Go me!